Hi, I'm Hart Hillman, Senior Partner at Bedford Transearch Worldwide. I look after the technology practice. And on behalf of CATA, the Canadian Advanced Technology Alliance, we are conducting a series of leadership interviews around innovation. Today I'm pleased to have a very special gentleman with me, somebody who has spent a very large part of his career focused on helping other companies grow and understand and assess innovation. Today I'm sitting with John Ruffolo from OMERS Ventures. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Hart.
John, you know, unfortunately, that Canada is perceived as a nation that is lagging behind in the innovation arena. OECD says that we are, I think it's 14th out of 17 nations worldwide. We're getting low marks from the Commerce Board, and yet we have a vibrant country. We have a country that is trying to grow on a global stage. What can we do to get back on the rails to improve our ability to innovate?
Yeah. So no, I agree that it is a concern, and if I look at it from a macro perspective and I reflect back on Canada as a nation, what we've been doing from an industrial strategy perspective, I go back 100 years ago and I say, what was Canada then? It was really a nation that was focused around its natural resources, agriculturally, our water resources, our mining resources. When post-World War II came about, there was a fundamental shift into a manufacturing economy. The 80s came about, and the switch occurred again to a services-based economy. And now when I reflect and look now, are we back to a natural resource economy, and have we flipped back 100 years? And this is part of the anxiety that I have. And with being blessed with these abundant natural resources, are we ignoring opportunities for our future because a lot of these natural resources are not sustainable in the long run, number one. And number two, with globalization, Canada can no longer try to be all things to all people. And when you look at where we focus in as a nation, we try to do a little bit of everything. And the real question for me is, I think those days are over, and I think that Canada as a nation needs to pick. And when I look at the assets that Canada has, great education system, wonderful immigration, cultural diversity, very good technological infrastructure, some of the best engineering schools in the world. To me, the innovation-based sector is one that I believe should be one of the few that Canada should be focusing in on. And the moment that we decide as a nation that this is one of the industries that Canada should be known for globally, we can start focusing in on that and start looking at the specific areas that we need to improve as a nation in order to make those particular industries globally relevant.
Excellent. John, you started your career or grew in your career at Deloitte. You were heading up the technology consultancy practice. You have helped other companies recognize innovation, how to improve and strategize and grow their business. You are part of an $80 billion company, and you run the venture capital group. And how do you instill in your own biosphere, your own ecosystem, how do you instill innovation in OMERS Ventures?
Well, the creation of OMERS Ventures in and of itself is quite innovative. To my knowledge, certainly in Canada, but to my knowledge globally, OMERS has created uniquely in the world a venture arm that no one else has created. And why was this done? And it was really part of an innovation strategy at OMERS. OMERS for many years has been involved in the venture industry, but rather indirectly, being a fund of funds investor. And yes, over the last 10 years, the fund performance has not been up to par, but that was not really the driver. The real question was, how do we take advantage of the long-term patient capital that a pension fund would have? How do we get very tight economic alignment between the investor, the people managing the actual asset, and the company? And thirdly, how could we leverage the boots on the ground? And by that I mean, when you have your own team of people who are looking at these opportunities, how do we take that knowledge and apply it to all of the portfolio of OMERS from the multi-billion-dollar companies? And this led us to create our own arm. And it's still, we're still trying to figure out where the improvement should be, and we're pivoting ourselves as a startup. But it's been very clear to us is that the unique business model that we've created is working to our advantage. And as well, from an OMERS perspective, it's a great test bed to actually test things that OMERS hasn't actually done before. Test them in a smaller environment, see how it floats. And if it's successful within the OMERS Ventures, we're actually applying the best practices broadly right across the OMERS enterprise.
Like an incubation.
It's very